Brand new statements. I have you gaping open. Check it out, y'all. Now let's see. Deltron Z, Art Avenger. Let's start the adventure. Pincher with nerve gas, absurd blast, crash a spacecraft. I'm bio-enhanced. Pyro advanced series, monstrous evolution. Headed tooth and nail, scoop the trail. Super sleuth, a new race. Mad creator.
The youth vote is expected to play a decisive role in this fall's presidential election. Yet youth activism seems tepid, according to some who criticize the youth movement for being apathetic. Where are the determined young voters, they ask?
First got involved in, or interested in the environment as soon as I was born, essentially. I'm from Berkeley, so it kind of comes hand in hand with the territory. And I think it's very important, especially for youth.
And it's obviously a very depressing tale, and at the end of the day, what can I say to my kids? We don't have actual policies in place to mitigate the damage that we're doing to our earth.
Environment is like the most important issue in my mind. Like, I feel like it actually affects everyone, again, like very tangibly.
I'm an active volunteer with the League of Young Pissed Off Voters and the Green Guerrillas Against Greenwash.
Something that is so for everybody, you know, that like there's just so much self-interest for a lot of people in this.
We've had just great positive responses. People are all about it. They're excited about it. They're, you know, as long as you're not asking them for money, they're stoked on it.
It is something that we owe to our children, that we owe to future generations, not only in the city and county of San Francisco, but throughout the world.
Started getting into environmentalism because I'm interested in global movements, and I mean, a lot of the work that I've been doing in school was interested in youth and how everyone interacts cross-nationally. So for me, it was one of those things where environmentalism is the #1 advocate for creating one global community.
When we go out, it's just really, you know, kind of talking to people. Thinking about what their self-interest might be.
Anything that has to do with alternative energy seems rather appealing.
Economic growth in general and the economy.
It all boils down to clean energy, you know, getting dirty money out of politics, getting, you know, it really, this movement I think really appeals to everybody.
I do too. I really do.
And some people just don't know it yet.
Yeah, and that's so we're just trying to get out there and talk to people.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm an intern with the League of Young Voters, aka the League of Pissed Off Voters. And we're here tonight on a beautiful Friday evening in San Francisco. It is June 11th today at Power Cat Radio, 87.9 FM. And we're here to launch our new campaign, Power Vote.
Yeah, like so
Pretty much, Power Vote is a campaign that we've got going to get a whole bunch of signatures to tell all of our senators and governors and mayors and our president, hopefully he will be someone who will listen to us, that we want clean energy and we want green jobs.
And we want it now!
Now!
Thank you so much. I want to bring up now the original sponsor of this legislation.
We need to get out from under the grips of a monopoly that does not allow the expansion of renewable energy as it should be in this city.
I think a lot of the youth that I know get most engaged and most impassioned when they feel like that there's someone who's squelching their voice or squelching their ability to do something because they want to increase their own power and take it from you. And so I feel like that has a lot to do with economic justice and a lot to do with environmental justice, that these guys with all the power are intentionally taking it away from you. And I think that's one of those I mean, that crosses environmental boundaries and it crosses a lot of other humanitarian ones too. Just sort of how can youth be the people next who can have the say and have the voice and have the power?
You know, corporations do really dominate our country through their funding, and I would just love to see like the people involved in making more of the decisions and having more of a voice.
Moving away from fossil fuel is something that we must do. Gore said the future of human civilization is at stake. He's absolutely right.
We need to be redeeming ourselves instead of just putting ourselves in more shit.
The way that things get moving is through the legislature, through the legislation. We need to change level at that level first, and then, you know, we can start making the real social change, changing the hearts and minds of people, getting to the root of the matter, which is, you know, which are like the ideas of racism and sexism and just in discrimination in general, you know. And once we have a structure in place, then we can start moving forward with the actual social changes and the psychosociological changes of all that jazz.
Yeah, well, I think that it kind of needs to happen at the same time, and that's kind of what we're doing, is we're building a movement, a collective grassroots, you know, 1 million signatures movement, but then at the same time, we also have our lawyers over here, you know, that are working for EAC and that are, you know, part of this whole thing, that, you know, it's like, it's sort of, you go from the bottom and you go from the top and you...
Power vote!
How's it going?
Pretty good. Got some signatures, I got some voter registrations. People seem really into it out here. They're really excited and they're really for the policies that we're pushing for, so it's all good.
If you're not having a good time, then you're not being as effective of a campus.
Yet it's very rare that we actually hear directly from youth.
Communicate through arts and culture. We communicate through music, and if you are able to take the time and listen to us and listen to our stories, you could perhaps understand what we're thinking. And it's not necessarily like face value taking what we're saying, but understanding the history behind what we're saying and the communities from which socialize us to say what we have to say.
I see the green movement and all of that also as sort of as a medium through which we're going to create a power shift and really bring power back into the hands of regular, ordinary, young people.
A lot of us feel like there's a fundamental disconnect between this administration that we've kind of grown up under and the way that we feel. You know, there's been, I think, you know, very little, if no dialogue between the current administration and the youth. You know, it's nothing there.
We need to also engage communities that are working day and night at the grassroots. They're not getting that big attention like Obama or McCain or whoever, but they're still doing work. And I think that's one thing that I want to break out of this narrow vision of how we're going to bring change as this one way, one man, one leader, one vision, you know, whatever, and move towards more complex thinking about how change can occur. And it's through practice too. It's not through, oh, you know, you can be a complex thinker and we can all just do what you say. No, it's everyone's responsibility to really practice thinking complexly. Go green!
We'll have a base of 1 million people.
And the new Green Deal.
That's easy. Sign the pledge.
Join us! Sign the pledge!